Marcus had always preferred small towns to cities, so when the job transfer brought him to Millbrook, he felt hopeful for the first time in months. After the chaos of his divorce, the quiet tree-lined streets and warm waves from strangers felt like a balm. Millbrook seemed like a place where time moved gently, where grief could soften into background noise. Sunday morning found him walking to the white steepled church at the town's center. The paint peeled in places, and the bell above looked rusted into silence. But the stained glass still caught the sun like fire. Inside, the air was cool and smelled faintly of old wood and lilies. The elderly pastor greeted him warmly, shaking his hand with dry, paper-thin fingers. Fewer than a dozen congregants filled the worn pews. Most sat apart, some dozing, some following along in hymnals that flaked with age. When the music began, the voices around him were thin and wavering, tired but sincere. Then he heard it. From somewhere behind him, a voice rose like light through the fog, pure, crystalline, impossibly beautiful. It wasn't just technically perfect. It transformed the melody, turned the hymn into something otherworldly. Marcus felt his breath catch in his throat. He turned discreetly during the second verse. In the back corner, an elderly woman sat alone. She had silver hair pinned neatly back, a face like a kind grandmother from a storybook. When her mouth opened again, that voice emerged, soaring, unbelievable. It didn't belong in a room like this. It belonged to concert halls, opera stages, celestial choirs. After the service, Marcus lingered near the aisle, pretending to study the bulletin, waiting for her, but she was gone. "Lovely voice Mrs. Hartwell has," the pastor said beside him, following his gaze to the now empty pew. "She's extraordinary," Marcus replied. "Has she always lived here?" The pastor's smile flickered. "Oh yes, all her life. Well, what's left of it." That evening, while chatting over the fence with his neighbor Jim, Marcus brought her up. "She was amazing," he said. "I mean, really amazing. Gave me chills." Jim paused, his rose pruning. "Who?" "Mrs. Hardwell, the lady with the silver hair at church." Jim looked puzzled. "Grace?" "Yeah, the one who sang. I've never heard anything like it." Jim's shears stopped midair. Slowly he turned to face Marcus. Something like pity, or was it fear, shadowing his expression. "Grace Hardwell lost her voice to throat cancer. Long time ago. Can't speak above a whisper now." Marcus felt the chills spread across his arms. "But we all just pretend," Jim continued. "Pretend we still hear her sing. Makes her happy, thinking we remember her voice. So every Sunday, we listen and smile. That's just what we do." Marcus laughed weakly. "Come on, I heard her. She was right behind me." Jim didn't blink. "You heard what you believed you heard." That night, Marcus lay awake staring at the ceiling, playing the memory over and over in his mind. That voice, it had been real. He was sure of it. He returned to church next Sunday. Something in him felt pulled, curious, anxious, even hungry. Again, the voice soared during the hymns, more radiant than he remembered. He turned and saw Mrs. Hartwell in the same pew, lips moving, eyes bright with joy. But this time, he noticed something else. The way the others smiled and nodded along, singing softly, eyes closed, not in pretense, but in reverence. The way they glanced back at Mrs. Hartwell with awe, as if they too heard it. After the service, Marcus tried something. He pulled out his phone, pretending to text, and discreetly tapped the record button during the closing hymn. Later that day, he listened back. The recording was nearly silent, just faint organ notes and the creak of pews. No voice. And yet, in his memory, the song rang clear. Weeks passed. Marcus went to church every Sunday. Each time the voice seemed stronger, richer. He began humming the melodies during that week, convinced that they were somehow original compositions. He dreamed of Mrs. Hartwell's songs, so vivid he woke with the tune still playing in his head. And slowly, Jim's words began to fade. Had he really said that? Had Mrs. Hartwell ever lost her voice? The next time Marcus asked someone about her, they just smiled and said, "She always did have a gift, didn't she?" In time, Marcus stopped questioning. He joined the others in harmonizing with her, lifting his voice with a joy he hadn't known he still possessed. The beauty of it all was undeniable, and maybe that was the point. Millbrook wasn't just a quiet little town. It was a place where reality softened in the face of sorrow, where collective kindness could resurrect what time had taken. Mrs. Hartwell sang because the town needed her to sing, because their belief made it true, and Marcus was becoming a part of it. Each Sunday the voice grew more real, and the truth became less important than the memory of the truth. Soon, he knew he would remember only the beautiful voice, just as it had always been, just as it needed to be. In Millbrook, some gifts came with a price, and some prices were paid not by the receiver, but by reality itself.